Just celebrated last week. Wow. Well, I don't know about that too much. He's not trying. I know. You know, people want to run you out. What's going on, Dave? Nice looking building. You can read it out loud.
Hot enough for you? Push through to be able to. It's too hot. What do you do? Fall over and die. Where's your shelf up? It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Right here. Two cards of managers.
A bunch of guys down there this morning. 12 guys. Wearing yellow hoods.
He said the 8 was still wet. This one was 7. The 8 was still wet. My grass is so dirty, I ain't got time to wash it. You think I'll be pretty please? Will you please? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Take it easy. You all right?
Hey, how you doing? Yes, we did. It was good. I think it was last week. You ready to go back and y'all ready? Good evening, everyone. The meeting is now called to order for August 13, 2019. We will have the Pledge of Allegiance given by Commissioner Tinsley and the invocation given by Commissioner Hobart.
Please join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hobart to approve the agenda and a second by Commissioner Tinsley. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Okay. Under presentations and delegations, number 1, recognize Gib Cotton, Network Administrator with the Information Technology Department as the July 2019 Strongest Link Award recipient.
Hey, how you doing? Good evening. Welcome, Madam Chair, Commissioners. You know, it's always an honor and a privilege to present a strongest link or a key component to our team, a member. It's special to be recognized, and I really like the fact that it's not just one person that really makes this happen, it's all of us together that are able to succeed. When one succeeds, we all succeed. So what I'd like to do is have Kenny come up and present a few more words about his nomination. So, Gib's an awesome team member, but he's got some extra exemplary comments.
Normally, they don't let me get involved in the strongest link. I don't even get to vote on who it is every month. The department directors vote on that. But for this special young man, I had to step up and nominate him. And I know you have a copy of it, but for the benefit of our audience, I want to hit some of the highlights of Gibbs' nomination for Strongest Link this month. Gibbs' been employed with us for 10 years. He's currently the network administrator in IT. Gibbs is a unique and remarkable individual and a professional. He is our certified fiber optic specialist and leads our fiber team, including personally bringing numerous businesses onto our fiber network. Listen to all this. Be patient with me just a minute and listen to this. He's a Microsoft certified professional systems administrator, a Brocade certified network engineer, a VMware certified professional, a Cisco certified network administrator. You know what all this means, right? He's a Sonic Wall security certification. He recently received, which I'm very, very proud of, his Bachelor of Science degree in Information Technology from the University of Middle Georgia back on May the 18th. While at Middle Georgia, Gibbs studied a vast array of IT disciplines such as networking, web development and programming, cybersecurity, and database principles. He graduated with a 4.0 GPA. While working, he had a 4.0 in all his coursework. He was on the president's list, and he was also in the Alpha something honor society, whatever. Okay, he was in the honor society, we'll put it that way. Right after graduating, he was accepted into the master's program in information technology, and there he's beginning his master's specialization in the field of cybersecurity, and his goal is to have a doctorate degree in IT by 2025. So for those of you still here in 2025, make sure we hold him to that. In addition to all of this formal education, Gibb takes advantage of every leadership opportunity we have here at the city, and he's just doing all the right things to prepare himself to be an even greater asset to the city. Gibb works nights, he works weekends, as a lot of our IT guys do. They're here pretty much all the time. Gibb works whatever it takes, and not only does he work, but he recognizes the importance of quality work, and he promotes that quality in the IT department and throughout the city. One of the most important things about Gibb, and the reason that I really had to nominate him, all of this is phenomenal. But you see that? That's the way he is. Every time you see him, every day, every night, he's got the biggest smile. He's so optimistic. He has the most positive attitude and the greatest demeanor. And that's why I nominated, because he works hard every day and has that smile and that positive attitude. So it's my privilege to recognize Gibb Cotton this month as our strongest link in the chain.
It's easy when you work with friends. It's easy when you work with friends.
This is yours to give back next month. That's yours to keep. This is yours to put in a prominent place in your office, and that's yours to enjoy.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Gibb. And you can say whatever you like.
It's really easy to smile when you work with friends, so that's what I love about being here is friends and family, and especially all these folks back here. They're just wonderful to work with, easy going, and every single one of them smiles too. I mean, you can see, look at that. It's easy. So,
congratulations.
see y'all. Thank you.
It's my first cousin back there smiling.
Number 2, review financial report for May 2019.
Would be me. All right, we're back again.
Happy to.
Okay, we'll start off with cash. Any questions on the cash position?
How to improve, sir?
Thank you. Okay, the next item is the local option sales tax. Any questions on progress? These financial statements are through May. We've been having some challenges getting some information in and closing out June. June's numbers will be finalized when the audit is complete. So we will present them next week or the next meeting. Please understand that there's still some entries pending. Okay, any questions on the local option sales tax? Any? Okay.
No.
How about the SPLOST numbers?
Just where we should be, given we're 1 month into our next budget.
Right. Okay, and the last item, the interim statements by fund?
That's good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus.
At this time, the chairperson opened the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing, or to the concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or to other staff for a resolution. Is there anyone on my left that would like to come forward and address the board? Is there anyone on the right that would like to come forward and address the board?
Madam Chairman, please give those on the left that just walked through the door an opportunity to do it.
Did you want to make a comment tonight? Would you like to make a comment tonight?
No, I came in to talk about, I wanted to.
You need to come on up.
Just give your name. Go ahead.
Yes, my name, hello, how y'all doing? I'm sorry for being a little late, but my name is Stephanie Colquitt Sherman. About 25 years ago,
Why don't you give us your address for the minutes, your residence address?
854 Westbrook Street, Griffin, Georgia. But it's about 25 years ago, I was a survivor of sexual assault, a rape victim. And so what I was coming to find out information and what we're doing here.
Chief?
For domestic violence victims.
Do we have special programs just for the domestic violence?
For survivors or?
Yes, for survivors.
I think there's a victims advocate group with the Sheriff's Department.
They used to be
The Sheriff's
across the
Department, the District Attorney's Office, there are all kind of social programs over there for victims, and we would have to do some research and get you all those contacts.
I've been trying so hard to get through for like 2 years. I've been here for 2 years. And I've been knocking at the door. I sent out tons of email and nobody get back in touch with you. And so that's why I'm here to meet with you guys to see what's really going on so that my voice can be heard. And that's why I'm knocking at the door today. That's what brought me here, being a survivor. And I needed to, I emailed the county commissioner right there, Cynthia Reed. She did. I sent her things, and she did talk to me, and I've talked to the mayor also. But, the people that you have in charge, and I'm an advocate as well, but I've been in Orlando, Florida for like 20 years doing work there, and I moved back, so I want to be able to work in the community that I was born and raised in. That's all. And just knocking at the door is kind of hard, and so I just want to come here and show my face and let my presence be known. And you can go you can find my story. You put in Stephanie Colquitt Sherman, and you'll find out that I was a survivor of sexual assault, and I am an author. I wrote a book. It's called Pain to Purpose, and it tells my story. I was on the doctor's show, and I had to have surgery, and so I'm trying to raise awareness because I need 250,000 signatures. We talked about that, to help women that are victims to be able to have surgeries over and over, not just patch-up work. And so the organization that I work with in California, out in California, that did my surgery, they have to raise millions of dollars just to help like 12 people a year. But I wanted to go a little bit farther than that and create a bill, that can allow these women to continue to have the surgery as much as they need to have the surgery. And so I wanted to start here with Georgia, where I was born and raised here, and it was also done to me here. And it was done in 1993. So that's why I'm here today, and not only that, it was some more things that I wanted to listen in on and see what was really going on in the community and stuff like that.
Thank you for coming and sharing your story with us.
Okay.
I know that takes a lot to address that publicly. I'm not aware of any, but I'll be willing to work with everyone up here to figure out how we can get the information to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is there anyone else on the left that would like to come forward and address the board? Is there anyone on the right would like to come forward and address the board? Okay. Now move on to public hearings. Number 3. Receive comments regarding a request for a variance from Vernay Manufacturing to reduce the side yard setback from 100 feet to 65 feet to accommodate expansion of an existing business at 804 Greenbelt Parkway.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Vernay Manufacturing would like to do a construct a 13,000 square foot expansion. It will be built on the north side of the facility, and the facility was originally built in the 80s, and the infrastructure is already there, so it only kind of makes sense. But the issue that was before us is that there's a residential community 100 or so feet away. Staff has recommended approval of the request with 3 conditions, one being that the existing vegetation will remain, which they've already agreed to. All the exterior lighting point away from the residents, basically have down lighting for the parking lot or what have you. And also, the new and existing parking lots meet the UDC guidelines for parking.
Hey, Toussaint,
Yep.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
what exactly does Vernay manufacture? What does
That's a great question. What does Vernay do?
One time, they made a screw,
Okay.
put in the carburetors, I think it was.
So what do you make now? They make something.
Sorry.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
My name is Christian Deschine. I'm the Vice President of Global Operation for Vernay. We have facilities, 5 different facilities, one here in Griffin. We do flow control device, so any type of handling either liquids or gas through different types of parts. It's all rubber manufacturing, silicone rubber made here. We got the plant here in Griffin. That's about from the early 80s, and facility also in Milledgeville and Italy, Netherlands, and China. So.
Thank you for addressing that.
And just point of reference, everything will be enclosed, so there won't be any. The building will be there, but everything will be done inside.
Did anyone from the residential area show up during the zoning meeting?
Well, there was no zoning needed. It's already property zoned. I just need to do a variance for it. So basically, you're reducing it to 65 feet, but the nearest house is still about 150 feet away. So, yeah. Plus, you have the vegetation that's already existing.
Gotcha.
Okay, once again, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward on it? Okay, now move into our consent agenda. Number 4 through 12.
Move to approve number 4 through 12, Madam.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Brock, a second by Commissioner Holly to approve.
It worked. That works.
All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. I have a say your mama then.
It's okay.
Okay, 6-0. Okay, now we'll move to our regular agenda. Number 13, consider variance request for Vernay Manufacturing to reduce the side yard setback from 100 feet to 65 feet with conditions to accommodate expansion of an existing business at 804 Greenbelt Parkway.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner McCord and a second by Commissioner Tinsley. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Number 14, consider acceptance of a grant in the amount of $1,669.44 from the Central Georgia EMC Operation Roundup Program for the purchase of 3 sets of updated CPR mannequins and amend the budget accordingly.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Holberg, second by Commissioner Murray. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Number 15, consider updating the salary survey and pay plan to include classifications for firefighters 1, 2, and sergeant, and amending job descriptions and the organizational chart accordingly.
Commissioners, thank you for this consideration. In accordance with our recent salary survey, we'd like to make a few minor adjustments that basically recognizes the changing standards that the American Fire Service has been going through and what certainly our department has adopted for many, many years now. Mr. Smith and I, miles before he left, agreed the best way to separate these EMT and search and rescue certifications was by putting them in a certain grade themselves and by updating the job description. Also, we have taken our very successful rescue technician program and converted it into what we call a sergeant's program, where we slightly raised the standards and also made it available, instead of just having 12 budgeted positions, all of our personnel in our department, the firefighter rank, would have an opportunity to achieve this. So we'd like to ask you to consider that. Make a motion to approve.
Second. I got a few comments, if I may. And I'm definitely going to support this.
Thank you.
Just want to make sure, all right,
when we go through a budget process the way we did, and now the fire department comes back and say they want to change or are asking to change parts of their staffing and the way they're going to do their pay, are we going to allow that for other departments that may be affected as well, that may be down, or we have tenured employees that have been there for a while, and are we going to give them the same consideration, or would that be possible?
It'd be on a case-by-case basis. I'm not aware of any other cases that have come up other than the firefighter case.
Okay.
We did recognize after the fact that there were some unintended consequences by not having, see, in the past, they've got a 2.5% increase when they reach these certifications. So when the pay plan was put into place, bringing them up to the minimum kind of wiped out those 2.5% that they had earned with rescue techs and EMT certifications. So that's why we thought that the best way to do this to kind of get it back in kilter was the 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, and sergeant. So I'm not aware of any other departments that have brought to my attention any of those other unintended consequences that would need to come before you to.
Being a long time commissioner here, I know when something like this happens with fire that we'll be expecting the next to come from the police department, and just want to prepare ourselves.
I kind of hit Tommy up when we walked in. I thought, wait a minute, I'm not comfortable because we just did this across the board, and I too just didn't want to have to go back and change anything, but you kind of reiterated to me that it's just an extension of what we did through like another phase to it.
Correct, yeah, roadmap for future success.
Is this done by the same group that we're already working with for this?
This is something we did internally. We didn't consult with them. Correct. With that. Okay.
I just want to be sure.
Okay.
We put them into the pay grades that the people who did the study outlined those pay grades to be. We just placed the 1, 2, and 3 in the particular pay grade based on their meeting certain standards and certain certifications. And the police department already has, obviously, a police officer, and then they have the master police officer for those certain certifications that they have to have, so it's already in place for the police department.
Solid waste?
Solid waste has different levels as well.
Public works, so on and so forth.
Equipment operator, 1, 2, and 3, and anytime you have some of these unintended consequences after the fact, you have to go in there and kind of tweak it a little bit. This was the most drastic tweak. There were a couple that we could do internally without really changing job descriptions and organizational charts and all that. This was the most drastic, but we have made some other minor changes internally as well. This should fix it, I hope. Now, anytime you have a pay plan go into effect and you got a guy on June the 30th that was this, and then all of a sudden July the 1st things change, and some people are happy and some people are not, but you have to have a date where something takes effect. So a new pay plan is not always 100% positive for 100% of the employees, because something could have happened on June the 1st and something could have happened on June 30th and July 1st, but you got to have a date. So this is the best we feel like we could do.
Did we have levels that showed this compression issue that we forecast, or that Marcus kind of forecasted from the other study? Was that happening here, or?
Marcus, can you?
I'm not sure I understood what the question.
Well,
Dan, the question.
in the study that we did, and we were really hitting home where you did about the compression of raising certain, did we see that this started to happen once we implemented this with fire? Was that an issue at all?
The issue here was specifically to the rescue techs and the EMT certifications, correct? Where those that received the 2.5 bump, now that was wiped away, for their experience, even though they had the experience and they had the tenure and the certification, now that same firefighter is the same classification as the rescue tech, as the EMT. So what Tommy and John Hamilton have done is gone through that list and identified the brackets in order to make this fair, so that those who did receive those certifications don't lose out or don't lose as much in the change. So what they have is a fair step and grade for the new firefighter pay plan. I have to be careful how I say that.
That makes sense. Thanks for.
And this is not all inclusive, because there's some of them that are still not going to be 100% happy even with this, because it does require certain levels that they have to meet before they can go to these different grades. So it's not 100% cure-all for the entire department.
And those that are in training will receive it, and the carrot's out there for those who want to go for training to advance their skills and bring up the experience level within the department. So it's a logical step. I've looked at it and I agree with what they're doing. It's a good program.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Consider resolution number 16. Consider resolution endorsing the transfer of $70,000 from Tax Allocation District 1 downtown area to the Downtown Development Authority, DDA, for 2 programs to be administered by the DDA board. 1, Downtown Development Revolving Loan Fund. 2, Facade Grant Program, and amend the budget accordingly.
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Murray, second by Commissioner Brock. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0.
Thank you, Patrick.
17, consider approval of work contract and award bid for the rehabilitation of lift stations number 5, number 7 to McElroy Equipment, LLC, in the amount of $1,146,890. Wait a minute, $1,146,890 for the Water and Wastewater Department, and amend the budget accordingly.
Make a motion to approve.
So second. For the statement, please. We're spending tons of money with stations and that kind of thing. But guess what? If we don't do it, folks, we're going to be in a heap of trouble down the road. So I encourage everybody to get on board and realize that if Griffin wants to be big and grow, we have got to get our sewage in place. We have got to get the electrical in place. And the other parts of this city have got to be continued, and it does cost money to do it. So I'll make the second to approve it.
Motion by Commissioner Holberg and second by Commissioner Brock. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Number 18, consider a lease agreement between the City of Griffin and Griffin Spalding Chamber of Commerce for the front portion of the downstairs level of the Welcome Center, and consider approval of a rental agreement for the meeting facilities located in the rear portion of the downstairs level of the Welcome Center, as more particularly described in Exhibit A.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Holberg, second by Commissioner Murray. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0.
Thank you, Jessica.
19, consider agreement between Spalding County and City of Griffin for use of inmate work detail.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Tinsley, second by Commissioner McCord. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Number 20, consider on first reading an ordinance amending the Code of Griffin, Georgia at Chapter 78, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places by redesignating present art regulations of timber harvesting activity as art and enacting a new art Georgia Streamlining Wireless Facility and Antennas Act.
If I can comment just briefly on this, because this has gotten to be very confusing. But this year, the Georgia General Assembly passed Senate Bill 66. You will recall that in early 2018, the FCC issued what they call their second order and report, dealing with the rollout of the 5G infrastructure for telecom purposes.
We amended a very similar section of the code last year. It went into effect the 1st of 2019, I believe, in order to comply with that second order from the FCC. Then the Georgia legislature comes along under some authority that was provided in that second order. It said that states could adopt local or state procedures as long as they were consistent and not in conflict with the FCC order. Well, what was adopted is not necessarily totally consistent. There are some inconsistencies, but the state enacted it anyway, and it goes into effect October 1st. It depends on who you ask as to what controls. If you ask somebody at the state level, they say the state act, SB 66, will control effective October 1st. And basically what all these bills do is they open up your public rights of way to these providers of telecom services, basically AT&T and Verizon Wireless. It allows them to come in and to put their apparatus, their small antenna, mostly on your utility poles and whatnot. But then to make things even more confusing, last week on Tuesday, the FCC issued what they call the third order in report on 5G rollout. It goes back and refers to the Cable Communication Acts of 84 as amended by the Telecommunication Act of 92. And basically it says that a local franchising authority, and of course the city was a local franchising authority for Comcast until 2014 when the state adopted state franchising, and then Comcast converted over to that. But AT&T also obtained the state franchise for the city of Griffin. They've never exercised it. They have their UVerse service, have had the UVerse service. They also are selling DirecTV as part of their packaging. But it's just gotten to be terribly confusing. And the weird thing to me, I was telling Kenny earlier tonight, there are 5 members of the FCC. The 3 Republicans voted to issue that third order last week. The 2 Democrats voted against it and wrote a just short, about 2-paragraph opinion that said, we don't understand this. You know, y'all have lost us in the process of what you're trying to accomplish. And we think somebody needs to give this more thought in order to clarify it. Part of it said that, you know, Congress really is who needs to come in and solve the problem. And that Congress hasn't acted in the area of cable television now. And it looks to me like the thrust of that third order is that a cable company that maybe in the 1980s, early to mid-1980s, 1990s, was stringing cable to deliver a television signal, is now expected to be able to put up 5G infrastructure, which is the small antennas, and compete in the 5G market. But we're all, as I said, kind of at a loss trying to sort this out. I don't know where it's going in, but the really bad thing to me about Senate Bill 66 was that it basically wrote out all of the procedures for permitting and for installation. There's very little left to discretion other than how much you charge. And what this ordinance says is we're going to charge the maximum that the law allows whenever we can. So that's really what it comes down to.
So, what do we actually vote? Are we saying we vote?
October 1, these
are we saying that we agree with it?
They're going to be coming to us.
Not to agree with it?
We've already had AT&T contact us about a month ago, and they came in to talk and to let us know what their plans are. They're going to be coming to Griffin. Verizon's going to be right behind them. You know, so you need it. I mean, I think we have to have this on our books in order to try to make some sense out of all this.
Wow.
I read it.
Read it, yeah.
Make a
Make a
motion to
motion.
I think we need to do a lot more research on what we're talking about before any decision is made.
Well, it talks about timber harvesting activity. I mean, what's that got to do with 5G? I mean,
Yeah. I don't understand what you're
Just on
saying.
the right of ways, I guess.
Okay, all in favor, let me know by show of hand.
Sure.
what are we voting?
I don't know.
The reading, I guess, in October.
You're voting on first
October
reading
1
to
reading.
adopt this ordinance.
Timber harvesting activity.
No. We just simply
You're
moved it.
moving it.
We moved it down in order to put this in as Article 5 because it makes more sense when you look at the rest of that telecom section.
So if we don't vote for this, we're going to be
We're
left.
gonna do it anyway.
So what do we
You're
do
gonna
with
be
the
without
IT
the ability to
department?
collect fees off
Where
these
is our
companies.
IT?
when they
We've
come
got
to
an
you.
We'll be
IT
doing what
department
now?
that does good things. So what do we do with that? Just throw it away?
Pretty much.
I'm not ready to do that.
So if we don't vote for it, we'll be denying ourselves the
But we can't
ability to
keep them out
collect
of
fees.
here. They're gonna come.
Anyway.
They're either gonna come and occupy your right of way without paying you anything, or they're gonna pay you what the state law now allows, which is far less than what we've been getting in the past.
You're setting perimeters for them to put their infrastructure in our right-of-way. That's all this ordinance does, and it moves the timbering down one and puts this in Article 5.
And you said we can charge the maximum unless we're challenged.
Perimeters
They're
are
gonna charge the
parameters.
maximum the state allows. This, by the way, was recommended to you by GMA and ACCG.
I don't think you had a second.
You'll adopt these.
I made a motion.
Okay,
Don't make them correct.
motion, I have a motion from Commissioner Holberg and a second by Commissioner Murray. All in favor, let me know by show of hand.
Can we,
I can't do it.
Thank you, Eddie.
Need more research.
need more research? Can we
Need to
table
bring
it?
it back.
Can we table it? I guess our.
Not after we vote on it.
Right.
It's not gonna change any between first and second reading, I mean.
We just need to have some discussion on it.
It is tracking the state law.
Okay.
This should have been brought before us,
3 to
long
3.
before it was brought to this table tonight, sir.
But your recommendation, Drew, is to approve it.
Yes, certainly. Now, I don't like it either. I haven't liked it. I didn't like it when the legislature passed Senate Bill 66.
Okay. Number 21, consider denial of claim for personal injury by Katrina Sheets and Miranda Williams that occurred on July 12, 2019 at the intersection of East Solomon Street and 4th Street at approximately 12:56 a.m. when the vehicle claimants were occupying was rear-ended by a city vehicle operated by a sanitation department employee, Tim B. Willis. Anti-litem notices received from Durham Law Group, PC, dated July 21st, 2019 and August 2nd, 2019. This claim is being turned over to GERMA for investigation and adjustments if warranted.
Make a
I'll make a
motion.
motion.
You make a motion. I'll second her motion.
Motion by Commissioner Holberg and second by Commissioner Morrow. All in favor, let it be known by show of hand. Commissioner, what did I say, Murray?
It's all right.
Morrow said.
It's all right.
God bless it.
I'm still up on number 20.
It's all right.
I'm still up on number 20. All in favor, let me know by show of hand.
It ain't more.
5-1.
I had more hair than you.
Okay. City manager's report.
Don't forget the ribbon cutting and open house and business after hours on the 20th at Historic City Hall. It's looking amazing. Census complete count volunteer kickoff Thursday, one at 10 o'clock, one at 6 o'clock. You'll have to come to one. But if you want to volunteer for the census, and don't forget we're accepting applications for Citizens Government Academy. It'll start on September the 5th, first Thursday after
Where is the census
Labor Day.
Where's
Ma'am?
the census kickoff?
Where? It's at Historic City Hall as
Okay.
well. So if you have constituents that you would like to nominate for Citizens Government Academy, if you'll get those applications in, it's coming up shortly. That's all I have.
Okay. You have anything, Commissioner Holberg?
Concerts in the park continue every Saturday night from 8 till 10 to the end of August.
Commissioner Murray?
Thank you, everyone, for being here, board. I just want to give a special thanks to Jennifer Freeman. She's doing a spectacular job right now in our electric department. She, not only from me, but I've heard other citizens just thank her for holding everything down. I realize we're a little short-handed right now, but some of the issues that have come across the table, you've been a great help and got it done immediately, and I appreciate that. And also, the publication of our growing downtown Griffin, Patrick Hay. This is excellent. Thank you. It's beautiful. Everybody take a look at it. I think that this project is long overdue, and you did a great job on this. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone else, for everything you do.
Commissioner Moore.
No comment, ma'am.
Commissioner Johnson.
I too would like to give a shout out to Jennifer. I had some issues in my district. I considered them minor, but they seem to be tabled for a couple months. I called Jennifer, expressed my concern. They were addressed and taken care of within 2 days. So kudos to you, young lady. You did a good job. And also the Citizens Government Academy, you guys are all here. So obviously you're want to know about the city of Griffin, what goes on. The Citizen Government Academy takes effect, or starts September 5th, runs through November 14th. As Kenny mentioned, you can fill out the application online. It's well worth your time. And they do feed you. Not much, but a little bit. So, eat before you come.
Commissioner Ford.
I don't have any comments, thank you.
Okay, I don't have any comments.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, let me know by show of hands.
Keep cool.
6-0.
They just, they don't know.
Yeah.